Someone says, Paula, can you talk about emerging skincare science?
Emerging skincare science. Given we just had our product development summit yesterday, and we're talking about new ideas and looking at skincare, I think that right now it's really about the peptides we've been looking at and these skin educating ingredients that actually teach skin how to create the building blocks skin needs to be healthy, young, hydrated, keep moisture in the skin. It's really kind of stunning, the whole world of ceramides and peptides. Omega fatty acids that we've been looking at getting them and using them in different formulas because of their nourishing aspects to skin. That's also a fascinating area of skincare. I also think that the other part of skincare that we've been looking at with interest is probiotics. The problem with probiotics, and you're going to see a lot of people making a whole bunch of claims about probiotics. The problem with probiotics in skincare products is everybody's bacteria that thrives on their skin is different. We don't all have the same, what they call the microbiome, all of the critters that live on our face, good ones, bad ones, that have some kind of amazing balance between the good ones and the bad ones. So to ever know which ones you're supposed to put on your face to create a balance, that science just isn't there. The people are going to tell you that science is there and it's not there. But what is there that I find fascinating is the research about prebiotics and postbiotics. And we'll be talking about that a lot coming up. I just would warn you against some of the hype you're going to be reading about, if you haven't already, about, probiotics and skincare products and what they can do, and because it's just the research isn't there and the facts. Sometimes there's theory, but in this situation, the theory actually talks against the ability of probiotics, a specific strain, having be able to balance your skin's microbiome. However, just to be very clear about it, there is research about different probiotics that have a very specific action on skin separate from improving the microbiome. So I think there's a synergy between what some probiotics can do to soothe skin and have some nourishing aspect to skin, then along with the prebiotics that actually help create an environment on your skin where your own probiotics, biotics, I guess is the word, not the own biotics, the critters that live on your skin, the good and bad bacteria, can thrive in a healthy, balanced way. That's pretty fascinating.
It's all working. So we're good now.
I'm back.
Matab Najad is wondering if it's bad to pile on serums in one go, in one routine.
Pile on serums. Wonder what you mean by. Can you type back? Who am I talking to?
Their name is Matab.
Matab, would you type back and tell me what you mean by piling on serums? Are you asking, can you apply a dozen serums? Are you asking if you can apply one serum after the other quickly? Are you talking about time in between? So if you're talking about how many serums you can apply, that's totally up to how your skin is reacting. There's no limit to skincare products. I think you can overdo it just because you're overdoing it, and I don't think for most skincare concerns, I personally use 2 serums and a booster for my treatment products. But that doesn't mean somebody else who has more advanced concerns or different types of concerns. For example, I don't have skin discolorations, so I don't worry about brightening so much like somebody else, so they might need that extra kind of serum for their skin or booster or treatment product. But if you're talking about, do you have to wait time between applying those products. There's no time wait. One right after the other, get them on, they dry, go to bed, or if it's the morning, put on your makeup. There's no timing issue with applying almost any skincare product, except you always apply your sunscreen last during the day, and the general rule of thumb, actually the pretty hard, fast rule of thumb, is cleanser, toner, exfoliant, and then you apply the thinnest product you're applying to the richest product. So the most liquidy to the most creamy. Now my products are that I use personally are almost all liquidy. And so for me then I just always tend to do my 10%, I do my toner, my 10% niacinamide, my ultralight resist serum for normal to oily skin, and then sometimes the 9% PHA, depending on what's going on with my skin, because they're all liquidy, so it's pretty interchangeable. Which one goes, the order really doesn't matter.
Rafaela is loving the new Clinical Ceramide Moisturizer.
Oh, you love my Clinical Ceramide Moisturizer. Thank you. I love it too.
She's wondering, or she's still trying to see if her skin tolerates retinol. Because of winter, her skin has been super dry, so what signs should she look for besides dryness if she's not going to be tolerating retinol?
If you can't, well, first of all, there's nothing about winter where you can't use retinol unless you're sensitized to it. I'm sensitized to retinol. I can't use retinol. It drives me nuts. Wish I could. But I'm one of those rare people, because it's less than 1% of the population that might be allergic to retinol. Actually, it isn't really allergic, it's sensitized. Allergic's not the right word, it's sensitized, which are two very different skin reactions. But the retinol, if your skin can handle it, it strengthens skin, helps educate skin to be able to fight against what's going on outside. So I would love for you to be able to work it in with the Ceramide Moisturizer. The signs to look for would be any kind of discomfort. Skincare should never be about tingling, flaking. Retinol is not supposed to make the skin flake. Neither is 2% BHA. Nothing is supposed to make the skin flake or feel uncomfortable or tingly. That is not a good sign of any skincare product. So that's what you need to look for. Now keep in mind that a lot of times what happens when you try to use these products with bioactive ingredients, if you're using a drying, irritating, heavily fragranced or even lightly fragranced cleanser, or your other products contain fragrance and coloring agents and irritating plant extracts, or your toner contains alcohol or witch hazel or vinegar or other drying, irritating ingredients, the likelihood of being able to tolerate anything, more or less the bioactive ingredients, is going to be impossible. Oh, I'll tell you a quick story. I think this reporter will never talk to me again. This lovely woman, and her skin was just red, raw, and inflamed, and I just was really struck by it. And she started asking me my recommendation, and I said, well, first, whatever you're using, you're going to have to stop using because it's hurting your skin. And she felt that that was the response her skin was supposed to have, that whoever gave them to her told her that was her skin going through a healing process. No. That's like saying, let me slice your arm with a razor and we're going to watch it heal and that's going to be good for your skin. Inflammation, redness, irritate, all of that is bad for skin. It is never good for skincare. It's like getting a sunburn. That is never good for skin. It damages skin. It causes everything in skin to break down, hurts the skin's ability to restore itself. No irritation, no tingling. Okay, so take care of your skin nicely. Okay, next question.
Oh, to follow up, how do you know if you can't tolerate retinol?
Did I not make it? Because your skin would react. So the way I found out that I can't tolerate retinol is for the first 3 days I love it and my skin does great. And then by the 4th or 5th day, I get little bumps or sometimes just a little rashy feel. That's it. No rashy feel, no bumps. And then sometimes I'll try to put it on my arms because right, tits up, arms, wherever you want to have, fight aging, fight sun damage. Retinol is a good friend, but I get the same reaction on my arms. So it's just me being sensitized to retinol. So it's that discomfort, it's that sense of dryness, tightness if you're flaking. And again, keep in mind, less than 1% of the population is going to be sensitized to retinol. Retinol is natural in your body. I mean, it actually is something we lose as we go along. So you just want to get more of it in topically applied in and functioning in your skin. So, I'm not happy that I can't use it, but there's so many other things I can use. It's okay.
Is fragrance a problem in anti-perspirant or deodorant?
I think as a general rule for skin, fragrance is always a problem. And personally, having shaved my arms most of my life, when you put fragrance, after you shave and you put a fragrance deodorant under your arms, first of all, deodorant in of itself, anti-perspirant can be tingling on its own, but then if it contains fragrance on top of it, oh my gosh. So as a general rule, fragrance just hurts skin. It just does it. It's inflaming, it's irritating. Natural or synthetic, there's very few fragrances that aren't so volatile or wafting that they don't impart a negative reaction on skin. The few that aren't, just to comment, vanilla, for example. Vanilla is an incredibly fragrant ingredient, and actually it has very good antioxidant properties, and it's completely non-irritating. Melon is another one, but on the other hand, melon, M-E-L-O-N, but on the other hand, lime, grapefruit, lemon, all of those are incredibly hard on skin, negative reactions.
Can you tell us about any upcoming products?
No, they don't let me talk about upcoming products anymore. But I wish I could. But by the way, one of the things I want to do in 2018, one of my goals for YouTube and Facebook, is when we do have a new product, I would like to be the one, especially if it's one that I'm excited about. And I'm excited. There's sometimes once in a while we launch one that you guys have asked for, and it's something we probably should have made a long time ago, and I like the one we created. I might even love it, but I'm just not excited about it. But the ones I'm really excited about, like the one we just launched, the Ceramide Moisturizer, and some of the other ones, I'd like to be the one who tells you about it. So I'm hoping that as soon as I can tell you about some of the new ones coming up. When I'm in town, I'll get on Facebook or YouTube, or even when I'm out of town, jump on Facebook and YouTube and tell you all about it.
Is it true that using salicylic acid in the same routine as retinol will cancel them out?
Really? Well, I'm sorry. When I say so, 2% retinol. 2% BHA and retinol work perfectly together. I'm not sure where these myths come from. There's another one about vitamin C and retinol. Oh, niacinamide and negates what?
Vitamin C.
Negates vitamin C. Is that the one? Something like that. It's sometimes there's some little research from 1 million years ago that's never been substantiated or was used on animals, or sometimes the research is just so obscure and doesn't really relate to skincare. But retinol and 2% BHA were completely different. Retinol absorbs deep into skin to educate skin, to help make skin cells do better things. Whereas BHA works on the surface of skin to help unhinge layers of dead surface skin. Two very, very different actions to help improve the overall appearance of skin. Two different levels of action. They don't negate each other. If anything, they work beautifully in harmony.
Do you think it is wise to add glycolic acid to my routine while using Retin-A?
So whenever I get questions about prescription products, even though I always have strong opinions, I also think it's particularly wise to discuss that with your dermatologist, because that's who gave you the Retin-A, and they may have strong opinions. However, from what I've seen, I do know that a lot of dermatologists indeed recommend both. So that would be something to discuss with your dermatologist, but I've never seen research that says you can't.
Will there be a Paula's Choice sunscreen with Tinosorb for European customers? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, a Tinosorb. So Tinosorb is a type of synthetic sunscreen ingredient. It's a very good sunscreen ingredient. It's actually not legal here in the United States. We have not started working on one just for the European market. Generally speaking, when it comes to sunscreen ingredients, there's over 40 of them. And Tinosorb is not, I know you may have seen a lot of advertisements about it and maybe a lot of marketing information around it, but it isn't the best sunscreen ingredient. So I don't feel any rush to getting it to my European Paula's Choice customers. Although if you're using it from another company that has Tinosorb, I think that's great, but it doesn't make that sunscreen more effective because it contains Tinosorb. The SPF is what's relevant. SPF 30 or greater, you apply it liberally and you apply it 365 days a year. It's not that the sunscreen ingredient is all important. It's really the way it's blended together, protect against UVA and UVB, and Tinosorb is just one of many.
Michelle Figueroa is wondering what your opinion is on topical vitamin D.
Topical vitamin D, I just haven't seen any research that it benefits skin. Vitamin D as an ingredient in the body, the body can't make vitamin D. Foods don't have vitamin D. Actually, that's not true. Some foods have vitamin D, just not much. That the best way, given how depleted we are in vitamin D, because the body makes vitamin D from sun exposure, you can never get enough sun exposure to actually make enough vitamin D. As a matter of fact, tanning blocks vitamin D. People who have dark skin colors, South Indians, African Americans, Africans, darker skinned people have a problem making any vitamin D because melanin in skin blocks vitamin D creation. So the question would be, are you taking enough in a supplement? Because you can't stay out in the sun, and then if you did stay out in the sun anyway, you would then risk skin cancer, and you don't want to transfer one problem for another. But then over and above that, does putting vitamin D on the skin work the way it would work if you take a supplement? And I just haven't seen any research that shows that that's the case. In fact, I haven't seen any research. Sometimes I might see a study that, they slapped it on 10 people and called it a study and said, oh, look how good it was. I haven't even seen one of those. So I would say I think it's wasted if you really should talk to your physician about taking a vitamin D supplement and definitely finding out if you're deficient in vitamin D. Both my boyfriend, who is Indian, very brown-skinned Indian man, and I'm a very white girl, both of us are vitamin D deficient, and we both take oral supplements of vitamin D. So you would definitely want to check with your physician to find out how much vitamin D you should be taking. It's kind of shocking how pandemic it is about being vitamin D deficient and what a very important vitamin that is for the body, and you're just never going to be able to get enough from the sun, no matter what you've read about, you go out in the sun for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. There's no research showing that that's enough. My boyfriend swims when we're in Mumbai. India, he swims almost every day for an hour. He is out in the sun, and he was still vitamin D deficient. So that's a big deal. Topical isn't going to give it to you, and you really need to check to see about taking it orally.
Luis Vaz is wondering if denatured alcohol is that bad for skin.
Denatured alcohol is that bad for skin. It's kind of like saying, is having a martini bad for your brain? Yeah, no. It's not that I don't like my martini every now and then, but I'm not taking it. I'm not having a martini and pretending that my brain cells aren't going away as I'm drinking it. I'm aware of what I'm doing. So denatured alcohol causes free radical damage, causes dryness, causes the skin to break down, damages the surface of skin, dehydrates. There is nothing good it does. Why would you ever put something, you don't even get a buzz from it, at least a martini you get a buzz. Why would you ever want to bother putting something on your skin that is bad for it when there isn't even, I can't think of one benefit that alcohol, denatured alcohol, SD alcohol, rubbing alcohol does for skin that helps anything. It's a problem. It makes almost any skin condition from bumps, clogged pores, aging, dryness worse. Don't do it. Big mistake. The difference in your skin when you stop using any ingredient that irritates it, dramatic, almost overnight improvement in the appearance of your skin. Next question.
What is your opinion on peeling ingredients like Mandelic Acid or PHA?
PHA, polyhyd something. So they're fine. They don't have as much research, the Mandelic Acid and the PHA. I'm trying to remember what that acronym stands for. It's like polyhyd something. But they're fine as topical exfoliants. What I always look to is what does the research say about it. And the research says that glycolic acid, lactic acid, and salicylic acid are the ones we know the most about, and the one that have the most research showing the benefit about how it impacts the skin. There's less about the other two, but there are no questions that they're exfoliants. Again, I worry about how effective they are and without enough research. But if you're using a product and you think it's giving you the results you want, you found that, of course, I would want you to try one of my AHAs or BHAs or my new multi-acid in my 10% AHA, which also has 0.5% BHA. Paula's Choice, we've been looking at exfoliants since 1995. The research goes back so far about AHAs and BHAs, and I'm kind of watching companies now try to catch up with Paula's Choice, like they've just discovered BHAs and AHAs and mixed acids. I love it. My ego is feeling very enriched. The reason we have so many and not just one, first of all, there's no such thing as one size fits all anything in skincare. It's just like there's no such thing as one size fits all pantyhose. There's no such thing as one size fits all exfoliant or toner or cleanser or anything when it comes to skincare. And so one of the reasons I've spent a great deal of my career fine-tuning and enhancing and creating a wide variety of exfoliants for normal to oily skin that are very liquid and light, for more normal to dry skin that are very lotion or creamy, that have higher and lower concentrations for different levels of sun damage or clogged pores or bumps, has been a quest of mine. And I know. The reason we have such a beautiful lineup is so each woman can find the one that is best for their skin type. And then I can kind of see other companies and they come up with their one and they go, oh, see, we know acids. They're your, well, whatever. So we've been doing these kind of products, exfoliants, for a very long time. Doesn't mean the other ones might not work for you and might not be a good option, but keep in mind one size rarely fits all when it comes to almost any skincare product, but especially exfoliants.
Allie S. is wondering what your opinion is on so-called skin purges, meaning when you use an active like BHA or retinol and you get breakouts and then get dry before it gets better.
You know, first of all, I hate the term purging because it isn't pushing anything out of skin. Sometimes your reaction to a skincare product when it comes to breakouts happens because, particularly for somebody like me, I just break out. I can break out with the products I love the best. Every now and then I get some breakouts. So it's hard to tell, did you break out because you would have broken out anyway, or did the product generate it? So sometimes when you get a reaction, you need to stop, take a step back, go back to what you were using, and then try it again. That's how I discovered that retinol, high concentrations of retinol for my skin was a problem. I tried it. I had a reaction. I thought, oh, maybe this is just, time of month, who knows, fight with the boyfriend, stress. And so I'd stopped using it and then gave myself a week, it resolved, and then I tried it again and the same reaction happened. So that's kind of how I experiment to see what's really helping my skin and what I just happen to be sensitized to. So that's one way. That's one way to think about it. But it isn't purging. Sometimes that's just what happens to your skin because it would be happening to your skin anyway. In the long run, it really is about, within a very short period of time, it needs to get better. If you stay flaky, if you stay having problems, and that product isn't working for you, back it off. See if your skin does better. Maybe you overdid it. Maybe you used it too often. And then it could just be that you're sensitized to it. You need to use a lower strength and experiment to see what works for you. And thankfully, at Paula's Choice, you get 30 days to see what's happening for your skin, and you can always return it if the one you bought wasn't the exact right one for you. Do we have a couple more questions? How are we doing?
We do. We have a few minutes left, so we're going to wrap up pretty soon, but we do have questions. What options are available to remove or diminish pockmarks on the face?
Oh, pockmarks. Darn. Yeah, no, that is really in the world of cosmetic dermatology. You would really need to talk to your dermatologist about that. When there are dents in skin, you would talk to your dermatologist, and then you would want to see if you can augment what they suggest in terms of procedures, say with a 2% BHA or retinol product. That would be your skincare, part of your skincare routine. But in terms of really doing something about it, that really is in the world of cosmetic dermatology. And believe me, I understand because I have struggled with that in my life. Believe me, I understand.
Will Paula's Choice ever make an intense exfoliating treatment, such as one that has like 25% AHA?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
I can't say anything else or they'll kill me.
Okay. Let's see. We have 2 more minutes to go.
2 more minutes? I'll try to be fast.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I believe me, I try to answer fast. This is me answering fast. What do we have, Allie? Allie, you have to be fast.
I know. I'm sorry. We had peelings question. You know what? One question was that somebody didn't hear was if you recommend mixing a foundation into their Calm SPF. Could you answer that one again?
That's an important one. I don't mind. I
absolutely
don't mind repeating that one. Actually, I don't mind repeating anything. I just get frustrated with technical difficulties, and I apologize to all of you out there. And hopefully, you've been patient, and we'll come back and see the beginning. The issue with sunscreen is you can never mix sunscreen with anything. You cannot dilute your sunscreen. So your sunscreen, the reason it's an SPF is because it is very specifically tested in its pure form as the product. We put it through an immense amount of regulated testing. If you water it down, you would not get SPF 30. That is why the absolute last product you put on your face during your daily skincare routine is your sunscreen. You wait for it to absorb, and then you start doing your makeup. That's solid. There is no exception to that. You do not mix the two together. That was fast.
Very fast. What is the best sunscreen ingredient?
There is no single best sunscreen ingredient. There's about 40 of them. Now, personally, my personal preference are pure mineral sunscreens. Ones that have titanium dioxide, only have titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. It is very popular nowadays to have mixed synthetic sunscreen ingredients with zinc or titanium dioxide, which is fine too. But the truth of it is what's most important is that you use sunscreen. The ingredients are not as important as what that SPF number is, which must be SPF 30 or greater. You must use it liberally, and you must be sun smart. When I'm in Hawaii, at my home in Hawaii, and I watch people on the beach, and they're sitting there in their bikinis looking awfully hot, not like sweating hot, just sexy hot, and I see them slathering sunscreen on and then sitting in the sun. I mean, I'm not going to say don't use sunscreen. You need to use sunscreen. But in terms of aging skin, you are not helping your skin not age. You're not helping your skin in the least. Wearing sunscreen does not mean you shouldn't be sun smart. And it is being sun stupid. I know I said the stupid word. It is being sun stupid to be half naked on the beach, sitting in the sun, under no shade, and thinking the sunscreen you've put on is helping you. Now, granted, I am on the odd side. I do wear sun protective clothing. I'm a kayaker, and I look more dressed in a kayak than I do in my house or when I go outside, because you get double hit from the sun, because you get hit from the rays coming down, and then the rays bounce off the water. So when you're out in the water, you are actually getting double hit from the sun. So I wear my my Coolie Bar SPF rated clothing, my rash guard. Pretty much I look like this and plus I don't have to spend so much money on sunscreen. So it doesn't change needing to be sun smart. So no one best sunscreen ingredients. I do have a personal preference, not based on any research, just I prefer the gentleness and the opacity of a titanium dioxide, zinc oxide based sunscreen, but it's really the SPF 30 and how you use it and being sun smart that is the most important thing for your skin.
To close us out, we had somebody wanting you to talk a little bit more about the benefits of the clinical Ceramide moisturizer.
So the clinical Ceramide moisturizer that we just launched, and so ceramides have been around for a very, very, very long time. And what we knew about them is ceramides are natural to skin, and they are the envelope around skin that holds moisture in, helps keep the strength of skin together. Ceramides are just really a remarkable substance in skin, and when you take ceramides and put them in skincare products and give those back to the skin, because everything starts diminishing as you get older and diminishes even faster and sooner because of sun damage, then when you put those back in the skin, you help rebuild that envelope around the skin, around each part of skin, to keep it healthy, normalized, stabilized, strengthened. But then over the past 2-3 years or so, research about ceramides actually being ingredients that educate and talk to skin, that actually are a substance that can tell skin to make more ceramides, to work better, for the skin to do its job better, for the skin to hold moisture better. Now that's astounding. So ceramides are in that category of skincare ingredients that educate skin, like retinol, like niacinamide, like peptides, and that combination of hydration, skin strengthening, and then helping educate skin, I was sold. Then we started working on making a ceramide moisturizer and using a beautiful mix of ceramides. And we also included, which I found remarkable, there are ingredients that actually help skin make more ceramides. So one is we have the ceramides to directly give skin ceramides. And then we included 2 ingredients that are considered precursors of ceramides, which is a fancy way of saying they help skin make more ceramides. Now, that's cool. And then of course, at Paula's Choice and what's true for skin, we're all about truth and beauty. You never just need one ingredient or one set of ingredients. Skin is very complicated. So we also added antioxidants and vitamin C and other beautiful ingredients to keep skin hydrated, fight environmental damage. One ingredient never does it. Just like I said before, there's not one best sunscreen ingredient. Ceramides are great, but they're not the only thing skin needs to be healthy, young, stabilize, and fight environmental damage. But they're darn good. So is that it? Am I done? Oh, I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, but thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm Paula Begon, founder of Paula's Choice, standing in for Brian Barron for Skincare Chat. And I hope to do it again. I'll kick Brian out, or Brian and I will do it together. I'm just proud of the way this year has started. I'm so happy for all of us and what we're accomplishing here at Paula's Choice. My teams are wonderful, brilliant, caring, loving people. They love and respect a woman's desire to want to look and feel beautiful. That's what I've done my whole career. My teams share that. We are all about truth and beauty because that's what's really beautiful. Thank you. Till next time.